Hi everyone, it's Tim here from Signagelive, and today we're going to walk through using the transparent menu item when it comes to getting your items on screen, whilst also using the backgrounds of your choice, so images, video files, anything that's your branding. So what we're going to start off with here is in the playlist editor, I've got some content which I've uploaded. This will be your menus, whether they're images or videos, that's completely your choice. So what we're going to need to do to get started is go to the plus button on the top left hand corner and go into the marketplace. Now, I'm going to take a step back from where we are right now, but in the marketplace, there are a range of free applications that you can take at no limit whatsoever. What we're going to go and grab today is the Google Sheet menu integrated version of the app. So if we scroll down, we can see this here, menu boards with Google Sheets. If you're not using Google Sheets, there are alternatives, but this is the one that we're showing through today. So if I click on Google Sheets, you can see we've got a range of different options here. Some of them already have content in them, images, video files, things of that nature. However, if I go to the transparent version, this will allow us to download this and utilize this to put on top of our own content. So I'm going to add that to Signagelive now. I'm going to move myself down here, move myself over here for a second, and put myself back. And then at this point, it will be in our recently added or recently updated content. Now the content we've got ready here, I just need to click and drag that transparent menu board over to the right hand side to add it to the playlist. So it's now going to be a standalone playlist on its own. This is important because we're going to use the layout designer in a moment to put our content behind this transparency. Now there is a link on this document or wherever you see this where you'll be able to see a link to our support article. This walks you through how to do the Google Sheet menu board apps, those with the images already embedded in them. But if we scroll down, you will see that there is a menu board default template. So if I click on that, that will take us over to the design that you're going to need to use to create your own Google Sheet. Now I'm going to go over to Google Sheets, and then what I'm going to do is copy and paste the design from the demo connector that came from the Signagelive support document, and I'm going to paste it into my own Google Sheet presentation. This is important because this is for your eyes only. You don't want to take anything from us directly. You want to copy and paste just the structure of that content so you have access to your own Google Sheet. Now what you're going to need to do here at this point is hit File, after I give it a name, let's call this Menu Example. You're going to need to hit File, and you're going to need to publish this to the web. Now the reason for that is that will give users access to go and actually see the content, which is what Signagelive is going to need to display your content on the screen. At this point we're going to publish the entire document to the web, like so. That will mean that it's then accessible for Signagelive to go and find your content. Now that we've done that, all we need to do is copy this item at the top here, and we're going to paste that into our menu board, like so. And now you can see that that text is being pulled directly from that Google Sheet. Okay, so now what I've done is I've updated all my pricing and I've got my items here, and as you'll see, this automatically updates on your Google Sheet, so we don't need to do anything from here on out with the Google Sheet. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to save the playlist name, and we're going to call this our menu overlay. Now that that playlist is saved, we can come back and make any changes to that in the future, but that's what's going to lie on top of your content. So I'm going to continue editing, and then I'm going to create a brand new playlist from scratch. That playlist is going to have our MP4, so this particular video you can see running along the side. I'm going to hit OK, and in fact I'm going to click and drag that over to the playlist, and I'm going to save that playlist and just call this our menu background. So now we have two different playlists running, and we're going to take a layout design and put them on top of each other to make sure that the content is going to be readable. So I'm going to go over to the content drop down and go to layouts, and I'm going to create a new layout from scratch. That layout is going to have just two zones, and they're pulled here from the top left hand corner, and I'm going to drop in a schedulable zone. I'm actually going to stretch this to the entire canvas of the screen, and that's going to be my background menu. I'm going to take the second schedulable zone and more or less cover all of the screen again. I'm actually going to make this slightly smaller because I know I've got some content in that background that I want to keep visible, and I don't want to have my menu items go over it. This may take a little bit of testing out just to make sure you've got it exactly the way you want, but you'll obviously have your design details with you. I'm going to save this layout design, and I'm going to call this our menu layout, and save. So now we've got our layout design, we've got our two different playlists, and the final step is to go and publish that out. So going over to the publisher here, I'm going to display this from now on until further notice. If you want more information on this, the Learn Center will have step-by-step instructions of how to do the more basic elements. Then it will ask us, what would you like to publish? It's either going to be a playlist or a layout, and in this case, it's actually going to be a layout design, and I'm going to go and grab that menu layout for myself. And now you've got these two zones layered on top of each other. The first zone, the one down at the bottom, I'm going to schedule that with a new playlist, and that playlist is going to be, let's go to recently added. Here's our menu background that we made a moment ago. And then on the top side, we're going to add our menu overlay. And there we have it. I can actually see on the preview here that it's looking a little bit more like it needs to go over to the left, but I can go and play around with this in the layout designer once I've published it. So once I'm happy, I'm going to select the player that I want to send it out to, and I'm going to set that up. So there's our player, and we're going to hit OK. Publish that out to the player. Now what we're going to do is see what that looks like on the screen. There we can see the content running on the left-hand side and our video background. Now what if we were to add another zone, like this? So how did we create something like this? So what we have on this right-hand side now is a third playlist which is running our offers. We can still utilize things like all the time scheduling, have this day-night parted, or organize the content to display when we want to. And how did we achieve this? Well, simply put, all we needed to do as an additional step is go to the layout designer, and I've updated this layout design with a third zone on the right-hand side. This is pulling from a secondary playlist which will be running. If I go over to my playlist manager, we can see we've got the sidebar playlist, and that just has a range of different offers or promotions that we want to set up, and we can always time schedule this in the way that we want. Hopefully that's given you all the information you need. Bearing in mind, if there's a situation where you think this is ideal, but we want to go and make a slight amendment or a change, reach out to us. We're more than happy to discuss any additional development that needs, but this should get you started with almost everything that you need to get started in the first instance. Thanks very much for watching. If you've got any other questions, reach out to us, and we'll speak to you soon.